All right, go ahead, Rusty.
Here's what we're doing today. We're reinstalling a Simple Pump, which is a hand-operated supplemental water pump that goes down the average domestic well. We had it in last year, everything worked fine, and then the main electrical pump, the main pump for the house, burned out, so we had to pull everything out, put a new pump in, and just about the time we were ready to put the Simple Pump in, blizzard broke out, and I said, the hell with it, we'll do it next spring.
Yep, don't forget it.
It was snowed for days. Anyhow, the Simple Pump is made in Minden, Nevada, I'm sorry, and it's a family-owned business. It's basically made in America, which is kind of a novel concept, and you actually get to talk to people instead of computers when you call them. It's a great product. It's not cheap, but it's worth every penny. So what we're going to do today is reintroduce this pump into the hole, and this is the actual pump right here. It has about 18 inches. It runs on about 9 or 10 inches of travel. Okay, each portion of the pump, each section, these are 9-foot sections, has a center rod, which is a sucker rod, just like a deep oil well out in the oil fields. This is a sucker rod that engages the pump inside that stainless steel pump. It engages the plunger. Okay, so it's a very simple system, and then each of these units is sustained by a bushing that keeps this rod centered. Bushing looks like that, if you can see it. Okay, and it's pretty simple, other than you don't make mistakes. The only thing I do that is not part of the original kit from the factory is I install a safety rope. I never put anything down a hole without a safety rope, because if something happens, I just put a couple clamps here and wrap it. If something happens, you can get the unit out. John and I have a little experience with that, don't we, John?
Crazy amount.
Yeah, we pulled his pump that
I dropped mine down in the well casing. It had hard lines.
Galvanized pump.
Yep.
Galvanized pipe.
It was galvanized pipe, hard pipe, and it was 134 feet down.
And that's heavy.
Yeah, all that water, the line, the pump, the cables, or the power lines, everything. I just cracked the wellhead casing. It just dropped. So
I don't put anything down a hole without a safety rope, which is what we're going to do first, is reintroduce this. The first piece goes down. The power is shut off. That's the first thing I do, is shut off the power, because in this hole are the wires for the existing well. Okay,
and there's your safety line for the actual well pump.
yes, these actually go. So I want them turned off no matter what. Okay, and they normally will lay under everything, and the cap goes back over. Now this is a 6-inch hole. It's about 90 plus or minus, a little over 90 feet deep. The static level is around 60 feet. And what I did when we took this out, I also called up the factory and said,
what do you mean?
I think I want to.
What do you mean by static level?
Static level is the water level in the
casing
pipe
itself.
It's the top. So if you got a 90-foot hole, and in my case the static level is at 60 feet, that means I have 30 feet of standing water.
Gotcha. So you have 30 feet of reserve water in a 6-inch hole.
And so what I did, I was as you can see by the water, there's mineral in all water. Some more, some less. Mine has just the right amount. There's a little bit of iron in it, but that's what gives it the good flavor, as opposed to bottled water, is the natural minerals. Well, you can see I was about 6 or 8 feet into the water, so I decided when I had this out, well, gee, I think I want to be another 10 feet in the water. So I ordered 10 feet more of sucker rod and tube from Simple Pump, and they sent it to me in 2 5-foot sections. So, and which is fine.
All that is PVC threaded, right?
Yeah, but it's a heavy wall. Okay. And you'll notice they also sent me 2 new bushings.
Centering bushings, right?
Yes, these center the sucker rod.
Got it. What keeps them in there? What keeps them in
gravity.
place from
just the next
gravity?
pipe screwing in.
Okay.
And so we'll just make it real easy. I think we will.
Where's your pipe wrench?
Bubba, see if you can attack that one.
So Bubba's the neighbor. He's like a worker bee. He's helper.
Yeah.
I'm the camera operator today. I worked hard yesterday, and since my hip got messed up, I've been working one day and taking a day off. You getting it, Bubba?
I want to put vice grips on that thing.
Just get right on the edge, outside edge. I don't know why that's on so tight.
Well, the more pressure you put, the more pressure it's going to be on the threads.
Okay, there you go. We're rocking. Okay.
At least they're secured.
Yeah. No, they keep them clean.
It keeps them clean, keeps the debris out of it. You're going to be drinking this water, so you want everything clean.
Once and again, that's what the bushing looks like. So we'll take that bushing and we place it in the galvanized coupler. Go ahead and push that rod a little bit this way. A little more. We get this rod out here. Get this centered. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, the reason we have a ladder here, we try not to bend these too much. This happens to be 2 units. We didn't take it apart. We took it apart as a couple. Two sections of 9 foot. Here's one of them. Here's the other one. The rest came out in singles. So the reason we have a ladder here is someone will get up here and kind of hold it in the air, and then we
Feed her down.
direct it into the hole.
All right, so I'm going to put you guys on pause, and then once...
I gotta go get a flashlight.
Okay, once we get the sections down, we'll show you guys how to hook up the main pump actuation, the actuator, how it fits into the end of the pipes. So that's the actuator right here. There should be a rod that connects into it. Maybe that rod goes up through and then connects up to this end here and screws in to this piece right here. So this will actually, there we go. Come on, doing it one-handed. Anyways, it screws in and fits in like that. So that way when you actuate the pump, that rod is connected here, goes up and down, and it creates the suction and brings the water up the pipe and out the hose, garden hose, whatever you want. You can leave it just like that and fill up your buckets and bring them into the house, flush your toilets, do whatever you need to do. So, all right, stay tuned.
Should trim that.
Okay, so with this simple pump, you get a new well cap with a hole for a safety string. You get this screw-in collar that bolts onto this cap that keeps the pipe from dropping down in when you have to let it go. So you have your safety cord. I always wrap it around to keep it tight, so that way nothing drops in just in case something fails. So all right, so we're gonna film putting in this next section. So we're going to pretend that this is the section right at the with the pump. So you just repeat this step however deep your well is. His is only like 80-90 feet deep, but he is going down, I want to say 65-70 feet deep to come off of where his actual well pump is, the electric well pump. He wants to be above all of that. So we're going to go ahead and film the next section And you'll see how it screws onto here, and then Teflon tapes and screws onto here. We have this orange thread locker. It's a mild thread locker that it locks it in place, but it's easily removed. It's easily cracked open. So yeah, we're going to thread lock it and then use the Teflon tape. It says on the instructions no more than 3 wraps, depending on how thick it is. So hand tight, just barely above hand tight to lock it in place so it doesn't unthread when you're pulling it out. So all right, stay tuned. Action.
This is our last piece. See, it's got a red tape on it here and a red mark on the top, and it has a 1/16 weep hole. So when you're finished drawing water and you relax the pump handle, then this weeps out the water in the top 6 foot of the pump to this level, this being stood up. Okay, so therefore it won't freeze. This basically keeps the pump from holding water, retaining water in the pump and freezing. It drains down the first 6 feet.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to set this camera up here, and we will kind of videotape. Hopefully I'm out of the way, because the fence and everything else, it's kind of one angle view. So I'm hoping I'll be out of the way so you can see everything.
Ready?
Yep. Alright, so if you don't have trees in the way,
Much easier.
it's easier, but you can still do it.
Come to your left, get around the left side of that one. Yep, there you go.
So it's got to be straight up and down when you put it in. And then you put your anti-seize or thread locker on this.
Which in this case, it's a breakable thread lock, quote unquote.
A little dab will do you.
Little special stuff.
And you got 2 little notches here. Put it together. It's real easy to thread in. You don't over tighten them. You just put it in place, snug, not extremely tight, just snug. So then you feed the threaded PVC. You got it?
I got it.
All right, you want to wrap it with Teflon. No more than 3 wraps, the instruction says. And you feed it down straight in. My hand grip sucks because I got a glass cut. So we're gonna hold it with vice grip or pipe wrenches and just thread this thing in here hand tight, like, but don't use another pipe wrench. Just hand tight it really good, just so it won't unthread coming out. All right, then you take your safety rope. You always want to have a hold of your safety rope when you let go of this collar. So you lift it up, take this U-clamp out, and you feed it through. You put your clamp back on it, so in case it drops, it'll drop and land on this collar. And you set it down, take the weight off of it, and there you go. I always put a safety wrap on here, just in case. I'm gonna thread this back on. And that's basically what you do with all of the sections. No matter how deep your well is, you just keep on adding sections until you're into that static water level.
And the reason we're using baling twine is we put 2 additional 4.5, 5 foot sections in this because I wanted to go deeper. So we had to extend the rope, but we didn't have rope, but we had
baling twine is really strong.
Baling twine, which has probably more tensile strength than a hell of a lot of rope.
All you farmers out there know that baling twine is really strong and heavy duty.
It's right up there with haywire and duct tape.
It's called redneck ingenuity. All right.
We're ready to assemble the top.
So that is how you drop the pipes in and link them together. All right. Okay, so in this top portion, you have a stainless steel rod here. It screws on this, the end of this sucker rod. Screws on using the same thread locker. The same thing. You don't want to over tighten it. You just tighten it a little bit more than hand tight. Just barely above hand tight. You got the thread locker on there, so it's perfectly fine.
So this last section of tube with the red tape has the weep hole at the 6 foot elevation. So this entire pump apparatus, when it's not operative, drains back, so it will not freeze up in the winter. Then the sucker tube continues up inside here and will come out and will attach to this threaded shaft.
So that stainless steel rod
is
attached here and comes up and out here.
And you'll note that we are supporting the entire weight of this apparatus, which is around, I would have to check, 82 feet in pipe from here down, with this emergency rope.
Baling twine.
Which in this case is plowboy baling twine. It's right up there with haywire and duct tape, 3 of the best things in the world. But anyhow, we have a safety here. We can let go. We don't even have the supplemental safety catch here. So now, which is why I highly recommend a safety rope on anything you put down the hole. I don't care who made it or what they recommend. It's just good sense. Okay, so now we're gonna relieve the weight on that.
I can't do this and videotape, so let's tell them what we're doing and then do it and then pick it back up. All right, so what we're doing is we're going to take the string off with 2 people, because I'm holding the string right here just in case.
And then we'll set it on the hole.
So what we're doing is taking the
safety
wrapped
rope
off. We're going to set this onto this, so that way it's locked in, it won't go anywhere, and then we'll pick back up. Okay.
And this right here is the final elevation adjustment for the depth of the pipe. We can move this up and down, and we can literally change the depth of the suction on the bottom by this much. We have this much play to adjust it to our satisfaction.
So basically you can have this much sticking out of the wellhead.
Yeah, from here to here we can adjust this, which is a very well thought out product.
So, all right, so stay tuned. We're going to get this put in place. We like to do things safe, so stay tuned. Okay, while Rusty was gone, I did it. So, you know, I love him to death. Anyways,
we will get Optimum Pro.
Yeah,
did you get it started?
Yeah, I already got it tight. So what we've done is we put this collar down with the O-ring on the bottom. We put down the 3 set screws, or the 3 hold down screws, and then we tightened the set screw tight to hold up against here so it won't drop. There's an O-ring on the bottom of this plate that keeps everything sealed. So what we have is that stainless steel rod that comes up and is threaded at the base of this and it is tight now. It's got to get finished tightened. Sorry, I've got to. And this one is left-handed threads, so we still have to tighten
these
two here, and then we can put on the hinge pump handle apparatus, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that together and come back and show you. Grab the vice grips, not the pipe.
This will work.
Whatever.
So it's left-handed thread, isn't it?
Yeah, it's left-handed threads. All right, nice and tight. So, okay. So we're gonna put on the handle. We're gonna go ahead and just do it. Love them to death. It's just overcomplication.
Okay, and this has, it's very well made. It has fine brass
Washers.
wear washers, which you don't see very often anymore.
So these wear washers go between
They go on the outside.
outside or
actually, they go on
inside?
the inside.
Exactly.
Don't you think, John?
Yes, they do.
Hold on. You have a little spring pin here instead of a Mickey Mouse cotter key. They got a spring pin. So we start this right here.
Put one in.
Put one in. I think we're putting one in. We're going to find out.
Yep, we are. Yep. We're going to slide it over.
They're hard to get in because it's awful close.
Let me have it. You do the camera.
They're hard to get in. There's one for each side.
Yep. I need that. I'll get it.
And one for this side.
Let me have it. All right, I got to figure out who's calling me because they've called me twice in a row. It might be an emergency.
I'll get
There we
go.
got it.
So there with the spring pin. That one's done. One more to go.
All right. Okay, now that we got that in, we're going to put the
Same thing.
same thing on this bottom pivot.
But you got to go up.
I will.
These are kind of a snug fit, but they keep the aluminum from wearing out. And
there you go.
so this will last for years because of these.
There you go. Locks in.
Hey, now
All right, now it operates just like a regular hand pump, well pump, whatever.
Yep.
All right, so it might take a while for the water to come up the line.
I can feel it loading.
Oh yeah.
Gets a little heavier every pump.
And look how light. I mean, he's not even.
They offer a 12-volt conversion that bolts right on here, a little 12-volt pump, which you can run your battery off the solar and never run out of power. And they offer a 110 that you can run off your generator, either of which will deliver 5 gallons a minute.
Yes.
So this pump is quite capable. But for right now, this is what I have, and I probably will go with the 12-volt later as opposed to the 110.
So if you're living off grid where there's no power, there you go. There you got water. So if you're running no power off grid and you bought property with a well, has a well casing on it, you can go ahead and purchase one of these simple pumps and put it together like we had showed you. Go ahead and pump it up and see if the the well has water in it. Make sure it's all potable and good to be drinking. But there it is.
Now, if they have a well that does not have a pitless adapter, has a hole like this second well, there's a second hole on this property. And if your main water delivery is here, Simple Pump makes a well cap specifically for accommodating that situation where you have a top delivery pump.
Right.
instead of a side delivery at 6 feet down.
They have multiple style
A
caps.
variety of options. I suggest you talk to them. I think they're really great people to work with. 99% of this is made in America.
Good deal.
So
We definitely need to keep that going.
but you can
So-
actually tie this in to your existing pump house. So when the power goes out and you had a 12-volt system with 1 or 2 deep cycle batteries to run it and a solar panel, you can have indefinite power and water pumped right into your household system at 5 gallons a minute and a reasonably high, I would say around 30 pounds. I don't know, you'd have to ask them. You have fairly good tap pressure. So for not a real expensive system,
Right.
you're never without water no matter what. Now you see I'm getting a little bit of coloration in here because
We've disturbed
we
everything.
disturbed everything in the pump. When any time you
Yep.
disturb a well, some mineral will come off.
Yep, you're gonna stir up all the rust from the well casing and everything like that. So
So this well happens to be 90 feet deep with around a 60-foot static level. I had the pump down at 72 feet and I decided, well, if there's any variation, which there hasn't been for the 25 years I've been here, but if there's any variation in the water table and the water table were to draw, I'd be SOL. So while we had this out, I called them. They promptly sent me 2 5-foot extensions. We put it in, so now I'm down at around 82 feet, which gets me 22 feet into the standing water table, that level being called the static level.
right, and then the recovery rate of the well itself
Is incredible.
should be way more than the
20 feet.
actual operating
Yep.
output of the water, so you will never run out of water.
Now to determine your well, you take a nut or a bolt, run it down your well on a cotton string, not a nylon string, a cotton string. Drop it down till it quits taking string. You have reached the bottom of the well.
Yep.
Pull it up.
Until you feel wet.
At the first wet point, tie a knot in it. Okay?
Yep, yep.
That is the top of your static level. Then
At the bottom of the nut is the farthest deep
the
port
difference
of
between the two levels can be determined by dropping the string down again
right.
and tying another knot.
Exactly. That'll
that's
tell
how
you
you
how
know.
deep it is and where your static level is.
I've given you information, but they are very nice people to talk to. You can talk to the owner. They have a video that walks you through it. The video is on YouTube. It's right on the internet, and then they have instruction videos. So even if we can do it, and this is the second time we put it down, it's easy.
My first.
But and it's 9-foot sections. The only thing my advice is, because we were in a blizzard and in a hurry, we took it out 2 sections at a time. Like 18 feet, that's not advisable. It wants to curve too much. You could rupture the inside push rod that's fiberglass.
Yep.
So I would say always take it out in short sections, and 2 guys can do it. 3 guys is better as long as one of them brings beer.
There you go. Y'all have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And have a great evening, day, morning, whatever time it is for you.
Here, I'll give them the number. I can't. It blew away.
Nah, you're good.
Number.
We showed them the front part. I got it.
Good.
All right, y'all take care. Have a good evening. Bye.